If you've ever spent hours debugging workflows in N8N, you know that it can be extremely painful. You run a node to get the test data, you pin it, but you may need to unpin it to run the whole workflow. You lose that valuable data that might have been from paid APIs to get. So you copy and paste that data into your nodes, back and forth, and this gets really old really fast. So I thought to myself, there has to be a better way. What if we make a simple Chrome extension that could just grab that raw data and save it into the local storage so I don't have to run the same nodes over and over again? That would actually save me money because I don't have to rerun paid APIs, and it would save me a ton of time going back and forth in and out of my nodes. Now the test data is all just going to be there, saved, organized, and ready to be reused whenever I need. And now I'm going to show you how I took that idea and turned it into a fully functional Chrome extension built entirely through a collaborative process with Google's own Gemini 2.5 Pro. To start, I wrote a detailed prompt telling Gemini a vague description of what I wanted. I needed to grab the name of the workflow, the name of the open node, and the output data, and then save it to a local storage. I also described the UI that I wanted. It should use drop-downs to browse the data. And what's amazing is that Gemini, even with such a vague prompt, was able to generate the entire project structure. Using the Canvas feature, Gemini was able to generate a manifest and a lot of JavaScript logic to get started, which was a massive head start. Unfortunately, AGI isn't quite here yet. So, because the first version that Gemini gave me didn't work, this is where the debugging process, the part where I bounce ideas off of Gemini and come up with a better solution to try and make this work, started. So the first big problem that I ran into was that the Chrome extension that I created with Gemini couldn't find the JSON data. A quick look at the N8N DOM showed me exactly why, and that's because the data wasn't just being rendered as a single string in the N8N DOM. It was rendered as a complex HTML tree, seemingly using their own proprietary method for destructuring and reconstructing the JSON in a way that's more appealing to the viewer. So I went back to Gemini, and Gemini suggested that we restructure the JavaScript to scrape the page and that HTML element with some JavaScript logic to reconstruct it into a string of JSON object. And I thought it was a clever solution, but we hit the next wall. Virtualization. The thing is, JSON objects in the N8N output tab are not displayed fully. What's shown to the user are what you get in the DOM. So naturally, our method, because it was so reliant on the DOM, would never work. So after a while of tinkering, going back and forth, conversations with Gemini, wondering about the meaning of life, we finally made it to the real breakthrough, which is when I inspected the network tab for the last time and found that the data was being sent through a WebSocket. I realized that N8N sends a message called node execute after that contains the full clean JSON objects. This was the key. Scraping the page was wrong all along. We needed to intercept the data at the source. So my next prompt to Gemini was very specific. I told it about this WebSocket message, and Gemini actually told me that we could use Chrome.debugger to make use of this data. And that was it. Gemini re-architected the entire Chrome extension. And our main script now uses the Chrome debugger to listen for that exact message being sent to you from N8N and grabs the perfect, simple, clean, structured data every single time. So with the core logic finally solved, the rest was pretty easy. We built out the save and browse functionalities, added copy to clipboard, and polished the UI with custom dropdowns and uploaded the code on GitHub. For those of you who might be a little lazy, I did actually publish this in the Chrome store, or at least I submitted it for review, so hopefully we'll see it in there soon enough. And there you have it, from a simple idea born out of a need to a pretty powerful and useful developer tool built through a genuine back and forth with AI. What this process taught me is that AI isn't just about writing your code and doing your menial tasks for you. It's about having a tireless partner, almost a mentor figure that you can bounce ideas off of, someone that you can trust to debug with you until the end of time, and one that can instantly pivot to a new, better architecture when you discover new information. If you want to check out the extension, the link to the GitHub repo is down in the description, and if you enjoyed that video, feel free to comment or like, and maybe even subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.